Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I am just so excited about today. This is a long time coming. I do not want to delay, but I want to welcome Teach Me Tribe and everyone else that is joining us tonight. As you all know, we are talking about unmasking mental health this month. As we try to bring more awareness to mental health as a nation, as a world, but also as a tribe as well. And I just had to invite Tony Polion to this platform because he has so much experience in this area. And I just want to just dig in now. I don't want it to delay because it's so much that I know you all are going to receive from him tonight. Um, as you all know, Tony is the founder and he is an entrepreneur of Sync Lux. And also, uh, he has been in the legal space, or I should say the police. What do you call that space?
Law
The
enforcement.
law.
Law.
Well, I knew it had something to do with the law.
That's right.
The law enforcement space in the mental health realm for years and years. He's actually retired. I'm not going to tell you his age, uh, but he has a lot of experience in this area, and and just tell us a little bit more. I don't want to tell everybody. I don't want to do that. So just tell us what it is that you want us to know about you, and we'll just. This is going to be casual. We're going to have this conversation around mental health, but I want to be able to really pick your brain tonight and get all the information that I know that can be of service to all of our listeners tonight.
Thank you. Well, first, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It means a lot to be on this platform. I've been watching you the entire time, and you've done an amazing job. I tell you, you're changing lives, and I'm honored to be here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what led you to even the mental health space in law enforcement. Kind of give us a little background.
I love to tell you some amazing story, but I don't have an amazing story. My family is really deeply rooted in um, mental health. Every one of my family has worked in mental health. I'm the youngest of eight.
Mm.
And so that's that. And then I have a brother who's been in law enforcement for many years. And he's the reason why I went into law enforcement. And after working for the city, I ended up working for the state and working for the Department of Mental Health. So that's how I got to the space. And really simple.
Wow. What is it that you think that kept you there in the mental health space? Because how long were you actually in the mental health space?
Uh, 15 years, 15
Oh,
years.
wow. So
Well,
I can imagine how
my,
much you've seen.
I've seen a lot. Yeah. My parents, they just kind of raised us that way. We're about helping people. We love to have an impact in the lives of people, kind of behind the scenes, kind of an impact, and that's what law enforcement, especially in mental health, kind of affords. And so it's just an easy, natural fit for me.
Wow. And I guess when I think about mental health, I think about um, I don't know, it's almost like it's not a good thing that comes to mind, just naturally speaking, because we know that that is something that is a challenge. That's that involves mental illness and all types of mental illness. So, what is it that you found in just your line of business in law enforcement, working with the state? What is it that you found has been some of the common things with the people that you've encountered?
Well, I think the first thing I'd like for you to know is that mental illness, mental health, while there's a difference, one is clinical. I'm not sharing from a clinical perspective, but from an experience perspective. I think the number one thing I would like for anyone to know is that no one who's mentally ill or people who are struggling with mental health issues, they're just not dangerous people. Of course, there are some people who are neurotypical who are dangerous, and there are other people who have mental illness that are dangerous. But it doesn't mean you're dangerous because you have mental illness, and it doesn't mean that you are a toxic, unhealthy person because you struggle with mental health issues.
Mm. And I think that's probably one of the misconceptions that we have when I think I mentioned last week in the mixer how, we'll see someone walking down the street,
Right.
that's probably homeless, or not homeless, but we just automatically make assumptions about that person. And it's possible a lot of times they do have a mental illness, especially, we're seeing them scratching themselves or, doing things that are kind of out of the norm. And I guess because all of those people, they are family members for,
Yeah.
someone. So I guess when you just based upon your experience, in what advice do you have for us? Because we have family members that um, that could possibly be in that situation or do struggle with mental illness, and some of the people that are listening to us, watching us, they could struggle with it themselves. What is it that you would tell them?
Well, first, I was a part of that tribe mixer when you shared that. But I think for me, what sticks out most is that I have a son who has a mental illness or a disorder, and they're changing the terminology for it. He's autistic. And so when you describe a person walking down the street earlier in life, I would feel sorry for that person. Now I want to do everything that I can do to help prepare that person to live a high quality life and be a productive person in society. And I think that that's something that we should all be working towards. That's the advice. That's what I would share with anyone. Let's do everything that we can do to help position people to be successful.
Hmm. I really love that because it's more of a proactive stance, because most of the time the things that we see as it relates to mental health or mental illness, it is the manifestation of something that has occurred for years a lot of times, and it's just come to a head. So, and I just love what you're doing with your platform with Safe Space for Men. Um, I mean, that is something that I know it needs to be talked about more, just not just in May when it comes to mental health awareness, because I know a lot of people have conferences and seminars in May, but this is something that you're doing all year long.
Right.
This is a passion of yours. So kind of talk to us and tell us, how is it that you came up with Safe Space for Men?
Initially, my plan was to do public speaking and to share with people and kind of open the doors to some other things that I wanted to do. But after one of my friends lost his life, it kind of caused me to pivot. And so I really started to kind of hone in on this and do a tremendous amount of research to learn more about it, to see how I can have an impact in the lives of people. And so that's kind of how I got to that spot.
Wow. I mean, I love that, because when we are in situations that when things happen in our lives, we sometimes we just don't know what to do,
Yeah.
um, because and then we're so caught up in the personal aspect of what has happened. But you found a way to help people, um, in the safe space for men. So kind of tell us a little bit more about, what it is that you do. I know you've had workshops in the past, so tell us a little bit more about that safe
So,
space for men.
so what I've done is I created a platform that teaches people how to create environments of appreciation where families can learn, your children can learn, your wife can learn, your husband can learn, your colleagues can learn, and it's an application that's made for professionals as well as individuals in your personal life. And so what we do inside of this is we generally start with a talk or some kind of an interaction that introduces what we're doing. And that turns into a workshop where we actually teach you the actual techniques, the application of our philosophy. And so that's what we're doing.
Wow. So what is it that happens in these workshops? I mean, and then how often can you really get people to come to these workshops? Because it's like, I mean, and then we're talking about men too, so and we know that men don't really like talking about their feelings.
But you'd be surprised, men actually want to discuss these things. I mean, the feedback that I receive from men, from their wives, from other people in their families, they want this. They just don't know how to go about doing it. And then they have to face the stigma of even trying to discover an opportunity to be in that position, in that environment. But when I've shared things with men, they are really, really open. They enjoy it. I remember not long ago, I did a workshop and the people just wanted to work through lunch. They didn't want to stop. They wanted to continue to go. The men really, really enjoyed it. And I still see the impact. Guys see me on the streets or they see me in another workshop or at a convention, wherever they see me, and they share, hey, I'm in therapy now, or I'm doing this. This had an impact on my physical body. Now I'm taking care of myself. I feel better about the physical part of my life as well as the emotional part. We try to engage the full man, mind, body, and spirit. And so that's the approach we use. That's our goal. That's our prayer. That's what we do.
That's huge. To be able to serve a group of men and then they talk about it later and afterwards. I can only imagine the impact that it's made in their lives in order for them to contact you, after the fact to allow them to know, okay, this is something that I need. And then the fact that you're able to show that in the workshop, what is it that they need, as it relates to all these areas of whether it's emotional health or physical health, dealing with the mind, the whole man, the holistic approach for the man.
You'd
And
be surprised how guys respond to this, how their wives and their significant other responds to it. It's not just a workshop just for men. I have a workshop for the women where we teach women how to
okay.
communicate with their husband. I have one for the children where we teach children how to be a part of the process of creating a safe space for the men in their lives. And it's for brothers and uncles and dads and granddads, cousins. It's for any male in your life. And the impact is huge. It's a huge impact.
Mm. Why do you think it's so important to have this safe space for men? And for us as women, for us as children to learn these tools.
I have a little man in my background right here.
I see.
Anyone that's been on Teach Me Tribe has seen this guy. And anyone that's been a part of any of the things that I've done, he walks through every now and then. This is my little guy. His name is True. And he's autistic. And I used to apologize for him maybe coming in or interrupting, but he's a part of me. He's a part of my life. He's a part of my fabric. And this is the kind of acceptance and inclusion that we need to have for people. They need to be able to be a part of life. They don't have to be pushed away. And so I appreciate you guys allowing him to come through. I didn't attempt, but yeah, here he is.
But you know what? This makes it real. You're talking about true, and him having autism, we're talking about mental illnesses, and how you've had to navigate through that. And this is a real situation to where I'm sure the tools that you are showing other people and the tools that you have had to implement in your life, or people that have shown you in your life for you to have a safe space. I mean, have there been instances? Because I could only imagine, being a single dad to a special needs child, just how life can be. Um, how has this safe space really impacted you to where you can really tell other people or show other people the importance of it?
I'm happy you asked that. That's something that I'm going to share when you allow me to kind of share more about what
Definitely,
I do. I have
definitely.
an incredible story and experience with him, and I'll share with you that often when we're in public, I use this as an opportunity to share with people. This is my experience. This is what's going on, and you don't have to feel uncomfortable. Occasionally, people are afraid to look. And so for him, this is perfect because for him it's mental illness. For me, it's mental health. So I have to deal with the sadness that I experience sometimes. Occasionally, I feel like, am I enough? Am I meeting the standard that he needs? What can I do to help him? And sometimes I feel like, I'm just not enough. And so I have to remember what I share with other people. I try to work through those things, work through those moments based on the research that I've done. And I have to apply that to myself because it does occasionally become really, really tough. You know, I'm a single dad, but I love being his dad. I wouldn't change that for anything.
Yeah. I saw a quote here recently. It said, being a good parent is about raising the child that you have, not the child that you want.
How about that? I like that.
Yes, and that's just how life is.
That's
Not just with parenting. We have to deal with the situation that's presented to us. Especially when it comes to children, when it comes to different relationships that we have. And I think providing that safe space and being in that moment, um, and with the people, especially the men in our lives, that's so essential. And I'm just so happy that you're doing this.
well, thank you so much, and I really appreciate you allowing this moment.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. Tell us more about the environment appreciation. I know you mentioned that earlier. Um, how does that work?
and so an environment of appreciation is something that I decided to kind of build, and I'm still building it. What it does is it creates an opportunity for a man to be uh, vulnerable without fear of judgment, without the threat of judgment. And so what I do is I teach people. I teach uh, in the workplace. I teach in homes, anywhere we can be, a church, any organization, how to create these spaces for men. So a man would be allowed to come to you, or you would go to a man and you have a conversation, you build rapport with that person, and then you introduce them to a safe space so that they know that it's okay to share without fear of any kind of judgment. And it works pretty good. It works pretty
Mhm.
good. I've seen a huge impact in the lives of people. I get calls all the time. I've had suicide calls. I've had
Mm.
a number of guys that call me to talk about their sons or talk about their daughters, or they're just so stressed. They don't know what to do. They don't know who to turn to. And we have these deep conversations, and it all comes from someone having a contact with them before. So what we want to do is get on the front end of this before you get to therapy, before you have some mental breakdown, before you have some emotional outbursts, or start to live a life that's reckless. We try to get ahead of those things and teach you the techniques that you need to help either prevent them or decrease the impact. So that's what it is.
Hmm. I really do love that. I mean, I love being proactive anyway, because a lot of times I don't think we really live in an environment that is proactive.
Yeah.
But because if you think about it, many people, they don't even go to the doctor, you
Right.
know, to get a yearly checkup. It's
Right.
usually the urgent care facilities that um, are the busiest, or the emergency rooms, because something has happened. So, and if you think about that just from a physical aspect, I mean, this is like a hospital, or not even necessarily a hospital. This is a place where we can be proactive that doesn't even cost us anything.
Doesn't cost you anything.
Mm-mm.
It's something that you can start to apply on every facet of your life.
Yeah,
It's, it's been one of the things that's made me most happy about what I'm contributing to society.
yeah,
I can see that I believe there will be a huge movement towards this.
yeah. I definitely believe that. I mean, and in the end, it is priceless
You know,
because you're investing in the future.
absolutely. And it's one of those things where, men, when a man hears something, we want to try to fix it. One
Hmm.
of the struggles we have inside of relationships, sometimes you guys want us to listen and we want
Right.
to try to fix it. And so, we will fix a car. The only time we go to the hospital is if we have to fix something. Something's broken. They have to take something out. We have to fix it. And so that's the mindset of most men. However, um, we're teaching men that their emotional wellness actually decreases those visits to the hospital. It lowers your blood pressure. It has a huge impact on the physical. It has a huge impact on the spiritual, and of course, the spirit, your soul, which impacts both. So um, it's it's been very rewarding to have created this environment of appreciation.
I love that. I love that. So, how is it that women, because I know you mentioned that, um, it's not only for the men that you speak to, but it's women that you speak to as well.
Right.
So, and children. So, tell us more about what is it that you do for women and for children to provide that environment of appreciation.
So for children, it's really important. They're actually my favorite group. There was a time where I was a part of youth ministry at our church, and I really enjoyed that. And that's when I really started to fall in love with how children operate. You know, they're very open, and they're always searching. They want you to feed their mind, and I think that this is an opportunity to feed them good things, because you also have suicide in children. So you have children going to children, say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I'm doing. They don't know how to help them. And so what I do is I talk to children. We teach them all of these techniques to help bullies. If a
Mhm.
bully comes to you, this is what you can say to them. This is how you can help them. I want you to change your mindset. Don't have any fear of them, and share with them how you can help them, because most of the time they're dealing with something, they're internalizing something, and it's coming out in a reckless way. And so we teach children a number of techniques to help that. And when it comes to women, especially women in relationships, it's critical. It's essential that they know how to communicate with men. You guys can get men to do anything if you say it the right way, you
Are
know.
you sure? You
Oh
sure?
yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. Try it one day. Tell one of your sons he's taking out the garbage, and tell him how strong he is. He's going to want to be stronger. If you feed that, they're gonna respond. They're gonna react in a way that meets your standards.
Wow. So, I mean, I know it's communication is huge. I mean, in relationships, you mentioned communication and how we communicate with um, with the men in our lives. What is it that you found? And I guess I'll touch on relationships, because a lot of times, I mean, that is probably the one of the most essential relationships to the family, or I should say it is the most essential relationship to the family, because our children feed off of us, feed off our energy. So how is it that um, we can really, in a relationship, provide that safe space for one another?
So let me try to explain it like this. You
Okay.
know, typically when you ask a man, how is his day? He will say, it's fine. Okay. He's really not talking about it. Regardless if it was good or bad, we've been conditioned to be that way. And you ask a woman and she will share the details. Well, there is a way to make a man talk, because he really would like to express some of those things. And when he starts to express those things, it really is cleansing. And so the way to do that, the way to create that environment is it starts with identifying that you have a need, and everyone has a need. So that's first for everyone. And that's why I like the Bible story of Adam and Eve, when God asked Adam where he is. First you have to be able to say what you're doing, where you are. And so once you can acknowledge that, the second thing you do is you start to pursue what it takes to fix it. And so that's where an environment of appreciation comes in. So a wife would, when a husband comes home, she would say, this is just an example, how was your day? He says, it's okay. And her reaction would probably be just to comfort him, be a support, and allow him to share whenever he wants to. And as he becomes more and more comfortable and he knows that he can share without judgment, then that will start to happen more. So what I do is I will teach him that it's okay to share. Then I will teach her how to react to his share. You cannot expect him to share and then use it against him. You cannot expect him to share and then lose any level of respect, because it takes a lot for a man to even share. And so you don't want the opposite happening. So that's what we do. We start that way, and we start to build off of that framework. We build off of that framework, and it's been proven to work. I haven't had a single individual tell me that it didn't work for them, male or female.
Oh wow. I mean, just as you were talking, I'm thinking about, just all of the couples that can benefit from that, just that simple thing.
Yeah.
But I know in my experience, in my mind, I'm thinking, or even conversations that I've had with women, when our spouse or partner comes to us and start talking about certain things, we're trying to fix it, or we're trying to see what we can do to help, because we love the person that we're involved with.
You're right.
We don't want them to hurt. We don't want anything bad happening to them, and don't think that something is going on and someone is abusing them or something, or saying something bad against them. We want to go and beat them up or something, just like the kids. So how is it that we as women, I know you said you kind of teach the women how to receive the share. So how can we receive the share without feeling like we have to fix it?
Well, here's the motivation. Uh, if you try to fix it, you're going to mess up. It's that plain and simple. Don't do it. We all have self-control. Your job at this stage, and there are many stages. There are several steps. There are several levels to what we're teaching, and then there's some proprietary components that I'm not sharing right now. But inside of the techniques we teach, what I just shared is that's just step 1 and 2. And so we teach them how to navigate this thing together. And what they discover is that it really has an amazing impact. They're able to fix it without fixing it. If you share with a guy, you ask a woman, and I remember Trevay was on, I don't know if it was her show or it was a mixer or what it was, but she was talking about men and women. how we share, how we communicate. And when you create these kinds of environments where a man can feel really comfortable, he will continue to come. When you're not beating him over the head, if he needs to go to therapy, he will go to therapy. But you can't force him to go to therapy. It's all about sharing the benefits. When he knows that he's protecting his family by going. If you're telling him he's got to go and fix him, then men are just not trying to fix themselves. But once you start to share, hey, when you go, you have an impact on the family overall. Now you're speaking a man's language, because men don't want to fail their families. They don't want to fail their families in any way. You see guys who are not the greatest guys, they still don't want to fail their family. So decent guys, who are the vast majority, in my opinion, they do not want to fail their families. That's who we are at the core. That's a huge part of masculinity. But you're kind of taking this person who has to be stoic throughout the day and allowing them to come in and release, which is the best thing that you can offer a man, that respect and an opportunity, a space where he can release without judgment. It matters. I'm telling you, those are the things that when women shift in that way, you're going to see a huge impact on the family overall.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And just listening to you, I know we have people of all ethnic backgrounds that are probably watching this, but I'm just thinking, just in the Black community, and how much that we endure from society, and how important that safe space is for the man to be able to come home, and even the woman to be able to come home and have that safe space.
Right. Absolutely. When that happens, you will start to see even men creating that safe space for their wives. That's something that we're working on now. We have a project where we're working on those things. 1 second, Betty, okay? Yeah, we have a project where we're working on those things, and it's just going to make a huge difference. It's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah. I think when, I can only imagine anyone who's listening to this that's thinking about a retreat for couples or something like that. This would be, so healing. And this can apply to any couple that is, whether it's newly couple, in any stage of their marriage or relationship, because this is so essential. Because life changes so much, and just to be able to provide that for each other, and to be able to grow and strengthen one another.
And we dig deep into this, and I know I'm just kind of surface dwelling now, but we really dig deep into what it takes, and we spend time with the individuals because everyone's different. I'm the kind of person who loves races. I love that white people are white people, and black people are black people, and Asian people are Asian people. I love that. I think it's so special, and what we bring to the collective is just, it makes life amazing. It makes life amazing. So what we do is we spend a considerable amount of time learning how to communicate with each group of people, because it's critical. The way that we would communicate. Well, I would say this: the things that motivate a black man are not the things that motivate a white man. There are a number of things, and so it's very important to know the difference, so that when we all come together, we're able to share in a way that builds everyone, that builds every family. And so that's what we're doing. That's what I love. So it's my passion.
I love that. Because overall it impacts our mental health.
Well, it does. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
That's what this is about. When you have, I say, you just have a fairly healthy mental health, then what ends up happening, the marketplace performs better. People perform better on their jobs. There's less crime. 1 second, buddy. There's less crime. families are better. A man who can come home and share with the love of his life, his experiences, and she can do the same without fear of judgment. Those people become more honest. So now you have more trustworthy people, and you have people meeting each other's emotional needs. So now the family is happier because they're happier. Men are living longer. You don't see a lot of great granddads, but you see a lot of great grandmothers. And
That's true.
so men live these reckless lives, and so it has a snowball effect. It gets better and better and better and better. And so um, I'm excited to be offering this.
I love it. I mean, it's this. I mean, just like I said earlier, this is priceless as it relates to, and then the fact that it impacts the whole family, and
Yeah,
that you're able to provide these tools for every aspect of the family.
right.
I mean, you mentioned the workplace,
Oh yeah.
and how you can provide these tools even for the workplace. Tell us a little bit more about what is it that you do in the workplace.
So what's interesting about this is all of this started for me in the workplace. I'm not sure where the guys got the information, but guys would come up to me at work and say, "Hey man, can you come up with an idea for my anniversary for my wife? Or can you come up with an idea? I need to write her a letter. Can you help me write a letter?" And after a while, after building rapport, one of the guys would come up and say, "I'm having this struggle. I'm embarrassed about this, or I don't know how to handle this, or my medication has this impact on me." And so everything for me started in the workplace. So
Mm,
I started to open those doors and share with guys, and they started to trust me and see that they recognized early that I had the information and the passion to share that information, and that you know we would keep it all a secret, and we just started to build from there. And so uh, those people perform better at work. They perform better at work on every level because they're happier. You know,
yeah,
they're happier. They want to come to work. They don't come to work just to be there, just for the wage. And that's the benefit to a corporation. The kind of things that we share. I know everyone wants to make more money, but people are actually happier at work when they have good mental health and when they use these techniques. So from a professional standpoint, we teach people how to interact with their colleagues in a way that doesn't have a negative impact on productivity. It actually improves productivity. And so we see these people going on and on and on and building these relationships. And it's been impactful in every way.
wow. I mean, that's huge. I mean, I can only imagine even when you do the talks at in workplace or in corporate for corporations, how much it impacts their families, because
Right?
these are tools that that's transferable.
That's right.
It doesn't just work in one environment.
Absolutely. Imagine having an employee who's performing at peak level and they're going home and they're also performing at peak level at home, physically, emotionally. They're supportive. They're providing those things that you need on every level at home and at work. They want to be there and they want to be a part of your vision. And so those are the kinds of uh, that's the response that we're getting. That's what people are sharing with us. And so that's what our research is showing us.
I love that. I love that. I tell you, True is doing so good tonight. He's participated in our discussion tonight. I love that.
You see me grabbing and trying to twist
Oh
and,
yeah, oh
and
yeah.
doing all these things.
He's like, I want to say, what I want to say about mental health. He said, I'm the expert here.
Yeah, it's very true.
I know you mentioned spirit, soul, body. You know, we talked about the environment appreciation and safe space. Tell us more about the spirit, soul, and body aspect of what it is that you're doing.
So, and this is not from our research. It doesn't matter if you're a scientist or if you are a religious person. They agree on many of the things that I'm sharing. And that is what enters your mind impacts your physical. What you start to think, the way you think, is either going to have a positive impact or a negative impact, but it is going to have an impact. In religion, we may say, so as a man thinketh, so is he. And in science, they may say you need to have these affirmations. You have to watch what you say, and so all of those things, what you think, comes out with what you say, and what your words are critical to every part of you. So when you start with that piece, you can move in both ways, from the spiritual side or to the physical side. So now you're taking those things that you're thinking and you're saying, and you're applying that to the physical part of your body. So we are working on every level to have a positive impact in the lives of people. We talk about meditation, we talk about ED, we talk about everything. We help get men prepared for every facet of life. We help get the women in their lives prepare for every facet of his life as well. There's so much support for women, very little support for men. I don't think it's because people don't want to support men. It's just, stoicism is, called men to say, I don't need that. I'm a real man. Real men don't do that. And that's why I have this whole idea of, destroying the real men don't culture, because you can be a real man and be masculine and still receive help, still open up, still be vulnerable. That doesn't diminish your manhood at all. And so,
wow. I mean, I'm thinking about the real man don't culture. I mean, that's hot.
yeah.
I mean, because think about it, real men don't cry.
Right.
Real men don't share their feelings.
Right.
So whatever it would appear to be woman-like or feminine, real men don't.
And what's amazing about that, Tiffany, is it's so opposite of what science says. It's so opposite of what religion says. Those two things agree again. You have to be able to purge yourself. I'm not suggesting that you have to do it in a way that's unhealthy. But when I look at the Bible, it says Jesus wept. Unless I have the wrong understanding of that, that means cry. That it's okay. It's okay. And people grieve in different ways. You have to be able to grieve in a way that works for you. You have permission. You don't have to grieve in a way that prevents you from getting over it. And why would you even want to get over it? Why would you want to get over someone that you love that's passed, that's no longer with you? You don't have to get over it. You just manage it. And so we teach techniques to help people manage that. We don't try to convince anyone to get over anything. You don't have to get over it. It's not about getting over it. It's about managing it. And so it's part of it.
Yeah. I'm hearing, fathers tell their sons, don't cry, or get up, brush it off. How do you think that has played a part in this real men don't culture? When a father has been raised himself a certain way, and then they're raising their son a certain way because it appears to be more like a man.
Well, I really like that question. I like that question a lot because it comes up a lot. And what I tell guys is, if he falls down and you say, get up, brush it off, and you tell him, I think you're doing the right thing. We're not trying to make men be women. The difference is you tell them, get up, brush it off, be strong. And then you pull them to the side and you say, son, it's okay. It's okay. We all go through things. We all experience things. And if you have to cry, you have to cry. We're gonna toughen up. Get those tears, you let them out, and we're gonna work through this together. We're a unit, we're a team, and that's how you go. So we're not stopping men from being men. We don't want to stop that. We have thousands of years of success with men and women. We're not trying to change that at all. We're just trying to show them this little extra piece. And this little extra piece says, yeah, get up, brush it off. You're going to be okay. But when you're not, you know you can come to me. That's the difference. They have to be able to come to you. They have to be able to come to someone. They have to be able to express that pain, that disappointment, that, those just not knowing what to do. They have to have a space for that, because that's going to prevent life-ending actions. That's going to prevent gangs. That's going to prevent crime. That's going to prevent the negative impact in the marketplace, in society. Because when things start to happen like this, it snowballs. And now the government's spending more money because we have a child that we didn't just say, get up and brush it off. We didn't give him any support after that. No support after that. So now he thinks, I just got to be tough all the time. And if someone stands in my way, I'm going through that. Instead of saying, hey, be tough, be strong. But if you need me, let's talk this through. That's the difference. That's the difference. And that's part of what we're offering.
I'll tell you, that's life-changing. That is life-changing. Gosh, I mean, I don't know what to say after that. I'm thinking about how many families can be saved just merely by doing these tools, by just providing that safe space and that environment appreciation. I mean, it's so much bigger than the mere words that we're saying, and everything that we're doing. What else would you like to share with everyone in regards to your platform and what it is that you're doing?
Well, I like for people to reach out. Call me, connect with me on one of my social media outlets, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, any of them. Just connect with me and let's talk about it. Let's put something together where I can come and start to show you and train the people around you how to create these environments, because it is critical to life. If you want a life that's more productive, a happier life, a life where you're actually pouring into people, where you're helping people, a life where you're having a positive impact on society, a life where you're having a positive impact on the marketplace, this is the way to do it. And so I would just ask people to reach out. Let's put some things together and let's make it happen. It can be a government. It can be an organization. It can be individuals. It can be families. It doesn't matter. Let's do it.
I love it, and I'm telling you, you will not regret it. I mean, these tools, and really, just like Tony said earlier, I mean, it's just the surface level, and just the little information that he shared with us during this time. There's a whole program.
Yeah.
But just what you shared with us is life changing. I mean, we can take whatever it is that you share with us tonight and change our lives. I think the only difference is you have to have someone, because most people aren't going to carry it out on their own,
Right.
because they do need that guidance. And that's the wonderful thing about what you're doing, the fact that you can provide that. You can be that coach, that mentor, that guide through this process, because we need that as humans. We need that support. We need that community, someone that has the vision for how things need to go and showing us how to implement it in our lives. So I definitely appreciate everything that you're doing in this space, because I know it's going to make better and stronger families,
Yeah.
stronger and better companies, communities, churches,
Right.
because we're all in these spaces. So if we're healthier mentally and emotionally, we can be healthier for our families. So I definitely appreciate the space that you're providing.
Thank you, and high five. I appreciate you allowing me to come and share this, and I appreciate you allowing True in the background there.
Of
Uh,
course, of
yeah,
course. I'm
thank
just
you
so
for
happy that that he's been a part of our talk tonight and our time to talk about mental health and how we can unmask it, you know,
right,
because we don't have to struggle alone.
right.
We can provide that safe space for the people in our lives, men, women, and children.
I'd like to say one more thing, if it's okay, before we
Oh,
go.
definitely.
You know, ladies, women, when you're sharing these things with the men in your life, you know, don't tell them to do it. So don't tell them to do it. Share with them and say, what, you know, what do you think about this kind of thing? And often men will say, you know, I'm not into that. But then what you do is let it go. And then there will be enough impression. You know, one person plants the seed, the next one waters. It will happen. It's in his mind because men want to get it right. Men want to help. Men want to improve the their lives, their families' lives. They want to create safe environments. They want to create happy environments. That's why men will work their fingers to the bone for their families and sit around unhappy just so their families can have what they want. What I'm sharing is if you do this the right way, not only will he continue to do that, but he'll be happy. You'll have that guy that you want. And that makes a difference. They'll have that employee that they want. You know, it will make a huge difference. You know, they'll have that dad they want. So you know, let's get this done. Let's change this real men don't culture. You know, I don't know if I'm allowed to say we want to destroy the real men don't culture, but that's what I want to do. I want to destroy the real men
Yes.
don't culture. It should not have any power over anyone. And so, thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, this uh, I'm ready to just conquer the world. I'm ready to gather all the men in my life and just be there to listen and love on them after our discussion today. I mean, because this has really it's been eye-opening for me and I hope it has been eye-opening for everyone that has listened tonight and that you've seen some things in your own personal life, even in your company, where you can utilize Tony and some of the tools that he just gave us just tonight. Just imagine how much more he has in his toolbox that he did not share with us tonight, and as far as how to implement some things in regards to the environment of appreciation and a safe space. So again, I thank you so much. Thank you, True, for being a part tonight as well.
Yeah.
And tribe members, we have Q&A with Trevay next week, next Monday. So y'all stay tuned to that. And we're gonna finish the month off strong with unmasking mental health. Tony, I think you did mention how everybody can get in touch with you.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
I mentioned social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I'm on all of those platforms. And so
okay,
that's the best way.
okay, awesome. And I'll put that in the show notes as well, just so you all can have immediate access to it. So you can definitely go on and book him for your next conference, retreat, summit, whatever it is that you need. And this is something that we have to do year round, not just in May, not just in October where it's designated for mental health awareness, but all month long. I mean, all year long, and that's something that he's available to take care of as well. So, um, so until next time, everyone. Thank you again, Tony.
Thank you.
Thank you again, True. But we'll see you all next time. Thank you all for joining.